Hey everybody, Eric here from EFBM Reboot. Here's your weekend edition. Well, Sunday as a matter of fact. It's a gorgeous day, a little on the chilly side, but 59 degrees, but in the sunshine it feels great. If you're in the shade and the wind's blowing, well, it's gonna be a bit nippy. So, today is about sugar addiction. Dun dun dun. In that moment, I kind of wish I had Belt, the sloth-looking thing from the movie The Croods, so he could go dun dun dun. Anyway, so sugar addiction. This is a huge thing in our society, whether people realize it or not. As it stands, on average, the average American has about 150 pounds of sugar added to their diet through processed foods. And man, that's a scary number. You know, there was at one point in, a couple of hundred years ago where sugar was so expensive that just to show one's opulence, like an emperor or a ruler of some kind would just, sprinkle a little teaspoon of sugar on their eggs just to show their opulence. But now it's in everything. It's in our sodas, it's in fruit juices, energy bars, granolas, yogurts, all kinds of stuff. It's even found in processed meats, meat that has flavors and seasonings added to them, ketchups and barbecue sauces, and you name it, sugar's in it. And guess what? That sugar has a price tag. There's a reason why processed foods are so cheap. And it's because they're full of just junk. You would think that putting all these foods together to make a processed food would be more expensive than the whole, but it's not. And what you save in your wallet, you actually don't save, because it leads to increase of how terrible you feel, increased doctor visits, increased waistlines, that kind of thing. But in sugar addiction, what it really boils down to is we have so inundated our system with sugar. And hey, I have a sweet tooth. I know, man. Sweets, they're fantastic. I'm that kind of person where I love something sweet. And 320 pounds, I was indulging it left and right. But here's what you got to be careful of. As you increase the amount of sugar and carbs in your blood, your body releases insulin to counteract that. Well, over enough time, and that's different for everybody, that can lead to insulin resistance. And so now you have this really negative, terrible effect happening on your body. Diabetics, for instance. So here's what you gotta be careful of. You gotta be careful about what you put into your body. Now, this isn't a talk on no sugar at all. That's not what this is. This is, make sure what you're putting into your body is worth it. Make sure, because there are studies that show sugar is along the same kind of addiction as cocaine. They both trigger similar. That's loud. They both trigger similar responses in the brain and similar chemicals in the brain. So a sugar addiction can be as bad as, not as bad. I mean, I've never heard of anybody losing their job because they're doing sugar. But it can be as detrimental to your health. So what are some things you can do? Well, guess what? There are several types of sugar addictions. I know, I think there's 4 main ones that a guy by the name of Dr. Tannenbaum, I believe his name is, he talks about 4 major types of sugar addiction, 4 main. I was definitely number one. And that's the one we're going to deal with today. Number one. Number one is the low energy. Low energy. So how many people out there just have no energy? They don't, you know, he classifies it as the soccer moms, the ones that feel like they have to have the full-time job and take care of the household and do all this. And they're hitting the sodas and the energy drinks and the, you know, frappe, mocha choca, BS, whatever from Starbucks, whatever all that garbage is. You're getting it from all these different places. And so having caffeine's fine. If you want to have a cup of coffee, I drink mine black. I enjoy it. Plus, I know that there's no added sugar from either the sugar I used to put in it or the creamer I used to use. Because I used to love my coffee to be super sweet. Not anymore. Not anymore. And I tell you what, you know, it feels great because once I realized that I had a sugar problem, 4 Monster energy drinks a day, you know, 3 or 4 Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies, that huge gallon of sweet tea you get for 99 cents from McDonald's, what, you know, all that garbage. It's just what it was. It was garbage. And so identifying, you know, it's like they say in addiction stuff. The first step to recovery is admitting you have a problem. Hi, my name's Eric, and I was a sugar addict. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have a sweet tooth anymore, because I definitely do. But I'm picky about what I eat as far as sugar, because it's easier to not eat 300 calories than it is to work it off. So in my case, I don't want to have to work off whatever amount of sugar I'm putting in my body. So I'm picky about it. I want it to be good. I want it to be quality. You know, quality over quantity is where you want to be at all times. Now, something else. The hidden price tag that goes along with sugar isn't just in how it affects your body. It's in the food as well. Something you can do that I think is a fantastic formula. And I like formulas. I like math. You know, I used to joke that I like math because it makes most people cry. No, I'm not like that person anymore. So, but I like math because math is fun. I like doing all kinds of math in my head. My son tries to stump me every now and then. I'll be walking by, he'll randomly throw a multiplication problem at me, and I'll know it off the top of my head. And he's like, "Come on, Dad." And so, speaking of my son, he's here in the driveway taking out trash. But, so here is a good little equation for you when it comes to sugar in your food. I want you to flip it over in that little nutritional box there. Whatever the grams are, divide it by 4, and that's how many teaspoons are in per serving. So things like orange juice, 12 to 14 teaspoons per serving. And you thought orange juice was healthy and good for you. You know, really, if you want orange juice, to get 16 ounces of orange juice, it takes about 8 oranges. So you can either eat 8 oranges, or you can just eat an orange and have some vegetable juice with no added sugar. Things like apple juice. Ooh, you're talking 13, 14, 15, even 16, depending on it, teaspoons per serving. No one's going to sit there and take little sugar packets and just down 18 of them. I mean, sodas can be terrible. Some of them can have like 20 to 24. Horrible. So, here's what you can do. Start looking at everything and going, if it's not 2 or less, 3 or less. Anything above a 3, throw it out. 3 or less. And 3 is on the high side. So 3 or less.